So after I officially uploaded my Thomas and Friends movie ranking and was climbing the bed finally at peace, my sister Sarah came in and said, "Hey, have you heard of that movie everyone is talking about called Swapped?" "Yeah, but I don't have any money to see it in theaters." Then she told me the magic words, "It's free." So you know what?
Yeah, I've got time.
And I can't say no to a free movie. Well, the Netflix subscription isn't free, but whatever. Now, I'm just going to be honest. I've always felt kind of mixed with Skydance Animation Studios. They're a lot like DreamWorks in a sense. Both have a really passionate and hardworking team of animators and writers, but having rather controversial founders that unfortunately stain their studio's history. It also doesn't really help that Skydance hasn't really been pumping out any spectacular movies from what I've been hearing, and they've really become a punching bag by online critics as a result. So here we are in the future with their latest film, Swapped. It's okay. I will say that's better than what I was expecting and does have some neat stuff to it. No, I'm not going to discuss whether or not the animation was done with AI or has an AI filter on it. Aside from a few stiff shots and the animators not bothering to make Ivy's character model messy after getting mauled by a frickin' wolf, the animation looks fairly decent. The best parts of the animation are the scenes where they just act like animals. In fact, that's also where the film peaks the most. The couple of moments where the characters don't speak while the score goes off with a beautiful background environment is great. It makes me think of the first 10 minutes of Tarzan and the Wild Robot. With the creature designs, most of them are really good. I like the birch deer, the rock bears, the fire wolves, but I just find the bird and gopher creatures odd looking. Even the main villain, while having a pretty sick design, has a face that's kind of similar to that Karen kangaroo from Horton Hears a Who, as well as being paired with a non-intimidating vocal performance by Tracy Morgan. His voice worked with Boogle, but that's about it. I guess since I'm talking about the villain, I might as well discuss the twist of Boogle and Firewolf being the same character. It sucks. What do you expect? For the entire movie, Google acted like a big nice guy, only for its personality to switch as fast as a light switch once he transforms back. It's the same problem you find in Disney's most hated twist villains. There was nothing that was established before that these two could be the same character, nor that he was tricking them this whole time. And the villainous personality we're presented with afterwards is just one-dimensional and lame. Weirdly enough, this isn't even my biggest problem with Swapped. That goes to the story and world building. Now, I'm not saying they're bad. They work for what they are, and they're pretty engaging and imaginative if you were 11 or something. The story is very basic, overdone, and unoriginal. And I'm not saying that's a joke. I'm serious. Every plot point is just ripped out from other movies. The main character wants to explore, but they're forbidden from leaving their home. Yes, John Lasseter, I've watched Pixar's Luca. Two talking animals who hate each other have to get from point A to point B while one of them can't fly. Why yes, I have seen Rio. Oh look, the animals unite together during a wildfire and use a blocked up river to put it out. I guess we need a teaspoon of live action Jungle Book and the Wild Robot. Oh, and Hoppers, which came out this year like Swapped. Okay, that last comparison was an accident. Was John Lasseter actually pulling a Jeffrey Katzenberg Bugs Life here? I mean, they can hop from body to body. There's also a lot of characters who just don't matter at all to the movie. Ivy's sisters are only in 2 scenes, and Ollie's parents just disappear from the whole middle portion of the film. We don't get any moments showing them grieving over their dead son, or the father character wishing he didn't push them away. None of these characters really matter. Why do they exist when you're hardly going to use them? I also kind of find it insane how this movie tries to justify Ollie's mistake by saying it benefited the birds. How is that supposed to help? Oh, don't beat yourself down. Your people may be struggling and starving because of your mistake, but at least mine are surviving thanks to you. Excuse me? The only time I found a piece of the story unpredictable was when Ollie turned himself into Bartleby. But I didn't even know you could turn yourself into a tree guardian with the magic pods, since that wasn't established beforehand. Which brings me into the world building. The magic pods isn't really consistent, and its powers are all over the place in order to move the plot along. Like the whole animal communication thing. So for some reason, the animals can't understand each other unless they have one of these pods. But instead of being reduced to the language of the species they changed into, all language barriers are broken entirely. The fuck? The magic pod can turn animals into other animals, but when it comes to the wolves, it's like a Mario power-up? How did the fire wolf turn into the fish from Wind Waker when you're supposed to say the name of the species out loud? How come Ivy didn't turn into a booglefish when she said its name out loud with the pod in her hand? I know I'm kind of sounding a bit harsh with this film and I'm complaining a lot, but there are good things about this film buried deep down. It may have an unoriginal and predictable story, shockingly unfunny humor like a whole scene that's dedicated to smearing Ollie and shit, the villain who isn't really good, and the convoluted world building. But in the end, Swapped is pretty inoffensive and harmless. Like I said, I really like the background environment and the creature designs. The score is really good too, and I did like Ollie and Ivy a little, even though Ivy has no arc whatsoever now that I think about it. And above all, I was never bored with the movie, which is really, really important. It's certainly watchable, and it definitely feels authentic in certain directions, but unfortunately, its low points really do drag things down. Originally I had rated this a 5 out of 10, but after writing the script, I think I'm just going to give it a 4 out of 10. Probably Skydance's best animated film so far, especially since it apparently beat Leo and K-Pop Demon Hunters for best opening week for an animated film on Netflix. That's kind of insane, honestly. Anywho, don't expect me to make a video on that Seth Rogen Animal Farm movie. I know it's trending and it would be good for views and likes, but I'm not going to dedicate any of my time or attention to a film that clearly doesn't deserve it. George Orwell is turning his grave so much that he could power a city.